So, I'm dropped into Maple Island for the first time in what feels like forever. And the amount of people here is staggering. It feels like every few seconds you see another person drop in and start their journey. Before I get started, I click on the light bulb that's floating above my head, and it gives me a free care package that has some potions and notably this big stack of leaf points. If you're wondering, leaf points, or LP, is the version of NX cash that we were given in the beta. So I start chewing through some of the tutorial quests. And then I hit the first few mobs, and immediately I notice my damage is high, like suspiciously high. This snail right here is supposed to be the bottom of the monster food chain. The fact that it can tank a hit over 20 damage when it used to have a measly 8 HP is pretty telling. I mean, I'm surprised enough that I'm even hitting 20 damage at this level. I won't learn till later that this change represents a seismic shift in the balance of monster economy. But for now, I just shrug and move on. As I level up, I dump pretty much every point into strength, since I heard that you can reset AP pretty easily in the beta. But just to confirm, I head into the cash shop to check it out. And it looks pretty different, but in a good way. The UI is cleaner and easier to navigate, but it still feels familiar. Seeing these classic fashion items again really brings me back. There aren't many options, but every piece is iconic. So I throw together a quick outfit and I get back out there. We're all excited to play Maple again, but let's be real, we don't have the free time that we had as kids. My new favorite way to carve out game time is with Stardesk, the sponsor of this video. Stardesk lets you remote into your PC from your phone, and during the beta I was literally playing Maple at 4K and 144 FPS from my iPhone. You can even map keyboard buttons to controller buttons. It feels really comfy. It's free and totally cross-platform. Just download the app on both devices, log on, and with one tap, you're in. Check out the link in the description and give Stardesk a try. As I'm navigating the island, I noticed that the map of Maple Island is this really old version that I almost didn't recognize. It looks pretty whack if I'm being honest. I'd probably prefer this one. Just look at that sun. It's a little bit of nightmare fuel. I head to Amherst and start hunting down boxes for the quest that will give me my very first chair. And I'm not the only one. When there isn't enough to go around, everyone stops being polite and just rushes for the box, hoping to snag that last hit. I struggle with this for a few minutes, until I eventually notice that no one is really going into the weapon shop, so I camp out in there and finish up the quest. I turn in a few more quests, get this dumb hat, and decide it's time to go. There are more quests on Maple Island, but since everything here will disappear, I'm not really going for completion. I head to South Perry to leave the island when someone warns me not to get on. Anyway, I take the boat. Wouldn't it be awesome if this was like an actual boat ride? Imagine taking that first trip to Victoria Island, giving everyone a chance to take a breath before rushing to go get our jobs. Once I land, I still have 2 levels to go before I can job advance, so I start grinding nearby. For the Classic World closed online test, I decided to stream for the very first time, and I was live pretty much every night once I got started. Here, I experienced my very first streamer privilege. Then, Layman drops by and gets naked. For science, of course. He wants to show me just how broken the weapon defense formula is. Actually, he already made a whole video on that. I'll put the link in the description. Finally, level 10. Time to get employed. Okay, so most of my old school MapleStory time has been spent on mages, and I really enjoyed playing a Crusader like once upon a time, but this time around, I'm committed to my original childhood class, Bowman. So I take the taxi to Hennessy's and get my promotion from Athena Pierce. I look through my skills, which are mostly familiar, but there are some significant changes we'll talk about later as we get them. For now, my first point goes into Arrow Blow, just so I can start putting my MP to use. Ideally, my character would be rocking the best hairstyle that Old School MapleStory has to offer, the curly stream. But this is no perfect world, so I sample the hairstyles available in Hennessy's, and they just aren't it. I can't bring myself to play the game until I get this sorted out, so I make a pilgrimage to Kerning City to get the best hair that I can. I actually ended up getting lost once or twice, but eventually I find my way. And it's immediately obvious that this is the market town. The number of shops here make the city feel extra polluted. It's like an ocean of billboards. Inside the salon, I flip through the hairs, but I don't see one that I want. This guy lets me know that some of the good ones are locked behind regular tickets, which means we're gonna have to gamble for it. But it doesn't cost me anything in the beta anyway, so I start pulling. And eventually I get something I can live with, the Francesca. Now I can finally play the game. I head west to try out my new bow, and there are a lot of people here too. That's what's so cool about the Classic World online test. No matter where you went, there were people doing their thing. It makes the world feel alive. I can only imagine how much more active it'll feel when the game truly launches. I start chilling on this flat area for a bit, and I realize it's way comfier. I think I'm starting to remember what really feels good for an archer. But eventually I get word that there's a way better training spot just next door. This is Caution Falling Down. It's super packed, but I plop myself down on this ledge and get to work. Little did I know that this map would define nearly half of my early game training. A few levels later, I head back to Genesis for a weapon upgrade, and it costs me basically every meso I have. But I couldn't use the beginner bow forever. Later, I head back to the city to see if the bubblings in the subway would be any good, since they have a chance of dropping the fish spear, which, if I'm lucky, might be a good way to fund myself. Just like Octopus, there are a ton of people here too. Soon enough, it starts to feel chaotic, especially when I'm trying to kite a group of them like this. Yeah, so I decide to head back to Octopus, and they welcome me back with open arms. At this point, I've started leveling Double Shot, which now has a little bit of AoE to it. Basically, it'll hit one mob twice, but if there are two mobs, it'll hit each of them once. I actually love the way it feels. Here, my homeboy Kruyo hooks me up with this awesome hat. While heading back to town to repot, I find this guy being made fun of for trying to sell arrows. Dude, I'm like, I'll buy them, because already I'm starting to feel that affording arrows isn't something to take for granted. Just look at how my money disintegrates after just buying a few lemons. This might be one of the most memorable parts of the beta, but basically the vast majority of what I consumed during the beta test was lemons and meat. In honor of this, it'd be really cool if somebody made a guild once the game launches called MapleStory. I pick up my first crafting skill, but it only takes a moment to realize that I can't really do much yet. Back at Octopus, I finally hit level 21, which means I'm now ready for Kerning Party Quest. I fully intended to get started right away, but I decided to turn in some quests first. Famous last words, because this soon turned into a circuit around the whole island. I first hike up to Parion, and I can't help but notice there are shops everywhere too. Just out of curiosity, I dip into the free market, and yep, it's dead. It was pretty sad to see it this way. Free Market 1 had just 2 little shops. I also noticed Black Bull is in a weird spot here. He seems to have been swapped with the storage NPC for some reason. I wonder if this was intentional. While picking up blacksmithing, this guy, Jefferu, shows up to deliver some much needed lemons. He would end up being sort of like my guardian angel throughout my playthrough, showing up with lemons and meat when I need it most. I also pick up weapon crafting, which has some interesting weapons you can craft that I don't recognize. I peek into the weapon store to check because they used to sell the mop and monkey wrench, but yep, they were removed, so it looks like you can only get those through crafting now. While in the area, I decide to try wild boars, but they're clearly beyond my abilities. So I keep moving and pay a visit to my man Winston. He's the one with the questline that rewards the iconic leaf earrings. One of the fossils he wants drops pretty easily from axe stumps nearby, and they're pretty comfy for archers since they move so slowly. But to get the organic fossils, I'll need to find a spot to hunt green mushrooms. So I keep moving east, and eventually reach the magical forest of Elenia. In town, it's quite lively as well, but since it's such a tall map, most of the shops are concentrated here in the middle. I make my way to the nostalgic green mushroom tree, and I find it surprisingly deserted. I actually really appreciate this map because of its chill vibe, and its platforms are reasonably flat. Of all the tree dungeons in Alenia, this one feels the most like it was made with archers in mind. But unfortunately, the spawn rate is pretty bad, so once I get what I need, I head out. I walk into Hennesis, and there are a ton of iconic quests waiting in town. I pick up what I can, and then I try crafting some arrows. A neat feature they included is the ability to convert crossbow arrows into bow arrows. It doesn't yield quite as many, but it's a nice quality of life feature that feels way better than constantly tossing them or selling them for 0 mesos. I pop into the weapon shop to look at the level 20 bow, but I realize it's not really worth it since it would cost nearly my whole cash stack. And the battle bow, which is just a few more levels away, looks much more tempting with its fast attack speed. In Lith Harbor, someone lets me know that they enjoy the content, and then they try to sell me some kind of handcrafted spore. I politely decline. Finally, after a full trip around Victoria Island, I circle back to Kerning City, and now I'm ready to KPQ. Kruyo gets our party started. And this is also when I meet Psychosis, who would end up being one of my homies throughout the rest of my time playing Classic. In the past, you could only have one party in the PQ per channel, and there are only 2 channels in the beta. Thankfully, they removed that, so we didn't need to fight anybody to get inside. We enter the PQ, and I'm pleasantly surprised I can actually hit the mobs here at level 21. But this is also when it really hits me that the vertical range of my arrows are not right. Just look at this. I should be hitting these ligators right now. For reference, this is what it's supposed to look like. It's so awesome being back in KPQ again. It takes me a few runs to get back into the groove of things, but at first I'm eager to help out. I even volunteer to be the one moving around the most, although I do mess it up a few times. Eventually, we reach the last stage and the King Slime Boss. It takes me a bit to get used to dodging again, and since they seem to have killed off jump shooting, I have an especially hard time. Look, jump shooting was never an intended mechanic the way it was for assassins. You had to time the jump and attack keys just right to pull it off. But it was a neat trick that archers and mages could do from time to time. I'd like to see it come back. The boss goes down, and no slime shoes drop. It's no problem, just a few more runs, right? We grind, and grind, and grind, and finally, they drop. I start to go for them, but I hesitate a little. Then the guy carrying us, Woojin, picks them up. It's all good, because 2 kills later, we get our second drop. This time, I don't hesitate at all. I rush that thing and ninja them. Now, I've got my green bamboo hat and my slime shoes. And my party thinks I might ditch them now. But nah, I'm not like that. Okay, I might be a ninja in this case, but I'm a loyal ninja, a ride or die. So we keep pushing to try to get shoes for everyone. Sadly, the night gets away from me, and the next pair doesn't drop anytime soon, so I don't get to see this mission through to the end. But I tried. It was like 6 AM at this point. Throughout my time at KPQ, I had a ton of fun. But the thing that sucks is that the EXP just wasn't very good. And worse than that, it was a massive meso sink. More often than not, I walked out with way less money than I walked in with. This made grinding KPQ really undesirable, which doesn't feel right, because KPQ is one of the backbones that makes first job really fun. Now that I'm done with KPQ, I came crawling back to Caution Falling Down. This time, I'm trying out Arrow Blow, since it seems to be what most archers are using. I have to admit, I do enjoy the higher crit numbers. I stay here at Octopus until level 25. And to celebrate, I decide to pop a couple scrolls that I had sitting in my inventory. Just look at this scroll, full of potential and hopes of what could be. And it's gone. But at least the 100% scroll doesn't let me down. I mean, it can't, I guess. I head to Hennesis to finally pick up the battle bow that I've been looking forward to. Then, I realize it's gonna cost just about every meso I have. So I cave, and I start liquidating a bunch of equips and etc. items to give myself some headroom. I peek at the gear afterwards, but there's no way I can justify going broke for just a couple extra dex points. Just then, this guy Jay shows up, and very generously buys all my ores for 1k each, which is pretty insane. Suddenly I go from broke to feeling filthy rich. So I do go ahead and buy some proper archer gear. Now I feel like I can take on anything. I have to say, while I really enjoyed the streamer privilege thing that I experienced through the playthrough, it obviously makes this run kind of unrelatable for your typical player. If I was having the real experience, I'd be seriously impoverished right now. Back in Kerning, while turning in some quests, I come across a little beanie cult. They invite me into their ranks, and the peer pressure almost gets to me, until this guy hits me with the "feel free to jump down." Jane Doe won't give me my first cape until I bring her some broken mirror pieces, which, for some reason, are held by bats in the subway. So we head down there and suffer at these sturges for a while. It's definitely not great for me. Their wild movement patterns make it feel like a bit of a mosh pit. I can't help but admire the Ice Lightning Wizard here, who obviously is having a way better time. Next, we head deep into the dungeon at the center of Victoria Island to try out the classic Ant Tunnel, which is always a staple for level 20s and 30s. Too bad for us, because Ant Tunnel 1 is way too full for us to join in. So we keep moving and try the slightly worse version, Ant Tunnel 4. This is about when I first put a point into the archer's new skill, Amazon's Judgment. At level 1, it has a 55% chance to apply a movement speed debuff when you land a critical hit. This golden effect above the monster lets you know it procced. Trust me, it's well worth at least 1 point. Later on, we decide to give wild boars a try. But we basically just end up KSing because it's way too packed. So, just like we did with Ant Tunnel, we try the slightly worse wild boar map. This is Land of Wild Boar 2. This one is deserted, and probably for good reason. The spawn rate just doesn't match up. But it's against these boars that I really start to feel how powerful Amazon's Judgment is, especially when combined with Double Shot. Shooting 2 arrows increases the chance of applying the debuff, and on wild boars, who are fast-moving mobs, the speed reduction is really noticeable. Just look at these stumps crawl when they get hit with it. So that was a nice little eureka moment, but the EXP here sucks. So we head back to Ant Tunnel to carve out the last few levels to 30. From our little trio, Psychosis is the first to ding 30. I'm getting close too, so it only pushes me to grind harder. So I lock in. We're not stopping until we reach our goal. Kurio also dings 30 and comes back with a brand new polearm in hand. Now let me talk about drops for a second, or the lack thereof. Throughout my playthrough, I did get a few equipment drops, but I can basically count them on one hand. There were 2 of these red thief hoods, a level 10 archer top, probably something else, but most importantly, this genuinely awesome polearm. It felt like fate. My first drop from Ant Tunnel mobs ends up being the best equipment drop I see the entire time. It has an above average weapon attack of +3. I don't hesitate to hand it over to our hard-working Kurio. A little while later, I hit level 30. This is what we've been working towards this whole time, and that prestigious title of Hunter is finally so close I can taste it. Before my promotion, Athena Pierce asks me to prove myself by passing a test of skill. I hear that even for archers, hitting mobs can be difficult during the second job advancement. So I respec my skills to squeeze out as much accuracy as possible. And to be extra sure, I head to the potion shop to buy some sniper potions for the additional accuracy boost. That's when I run into GM Callahan. He tells me to run! He ends up summoning a king slime for me to fight. So I start taking it on in the streets of Hennesis, and people walking by stop and help me take it down. After that fun little diversion, I head back to take my second job advancement test, which, like most Maple quests, is pretty simple. Defeat some monsters and collect their drops. After I collect all their dark marbles, I go to tell Athena the good news. Surprise! Even more king slimes. I try my best here, but they're pretty tricky for a lone level 30. Thankfully, others start showing up to help. We work together to defeat them, and it was awesome to feel that sense of camaraderie when that last one fell. I'm finally a hunter, so now it's time to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate than by torturing myself with some jump quests? I host a race at the Alenia Jump Quest. I pop a few megaphones and wait a few minutes for people to show up. Then we begin the race. This initial rush of everyone running together is really fun. Unfortunately for me, that fun ended pretty soon. A few devastating falls later and I'm behind everyone else. Like way behind. As the host of the event, it was pretty embarrassing, honestly. But everybody was super patient and waited for me to reach the end. I reward the winner, Ferret, with his well-earned prize. Then some of us break off to check out the brand new zone. Just below Alenia, a new portal takes us into a deep, awesome-looking place. This area is surreal. It feels completely different from the rest of Victoria Island, and yet it fits right in. The music has a more dramatic tone. The monsters look strange, yet familiar. And the town is full of little details, especially inside buildings like this one. Jeff shows up again to give me his last donation of goodies. The path above the town leads back towards Sleepywood. And the one below leads into a darker, scarier place full of diseased-looking monsters. Exploring with a party like this was so cool. I'm not sure I've ever experienced MapleStory like this. It felt like we were on an expedition through this new zone, discovering it for the first time, together. I don't want the Classic World team to spread themselves too thin, but I do know if they make more places like this, I'll be pretty happy. After dying to the new Mushmom boss, we click on these little flower buds that teleport us right below Sleepywood. Then, for some reason, I decide to take on even more jump quests. And, well, I've started to accept who I really am. Someone who's not good at jump quests. We chillin'. 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 No! I am a snake. I am a snake. Look at me. I am the snake now. Oh my god. What is happening? My life flashed before my eyes. Oh my god. Oh. No. Ooh. Oh. No. No. I gotta do it for the lemon. Do it for the lemon. Lemon. Oh yeah. Alright, well, yellow. Yo! We did it! We did it! Then we embark on a classic journey through Sleepywood Dungeon, with the goal of visiting the Cursed Sanctuary. If we're lucky, maybe we can even see the Junior Balrog. We make a quick stop at Zombie Mushmom, and it seems like she isn't home. Oh, nope, she is. Psychosis found this neat little glitch, where we fall through the floor. Then we push through the Evil Eye Caves, and the Drake Training Ground. We travel further into the blue part of Ant Tunnel, and check Drake's meal table just to see if our buddy Bob the Snail is here. He's not. Finally, we reach the Sanctuary, and all that's left is surviving the gauntlet of Taro Maces and Taro Spears to reach our final destination. Being low level like this, and actually having to utilize those upper platforms for safety, out of like genuine necessity, was super refreshing. We get right to the end of the last map before Balrog, and we all perish. I realize we need better potions, so we try again, this time with Unagi. On our way back, we run into some people filming a Maple music video. Then, back in the Sanctuary, I managed to die again. Okay, third time's a charm. This time, my Unagi mashing is on point, and I just barely survive the biggest hit and make it into the Cursed Sanctuary. Sadly, Junior Balrog wasn't home, but I take a selfie, and that's when I discovered that they added this nifty photo mode that hides all of the UI. The final day of beta arrives, and everyone gathers for one last commemorative photo in Lith Harbor. Seeing so many people gathered together was nothing short of amazing. After a while, you could feel the servers start to struggle to keep up. Then, after the photo, they set out to execute us all by spawning dozens of Balrogs. I'll never forget this memory, with gravestones literally raining down non-stop. After the chaos of Lith, I escaped to the Hennessy's Pet Park, where I heard some people were waiting out their last moments. I did one last jump quest, for old time's sake. Then we waited out the server's dying breath, which, even though we knew it was coming, still felt strangely unceremonious. Suddenly, in one moment, the game froze, and everything from the past week was just gone. Our gear, levels, our items, our characters, even the world itself. It was hard to believe it was over. Later that evening, when my usual stream time rolled around, I felt this profound emptiness. It's like my heart was asking, now what? The good news is this was just a taste, a tiny, tiny morsel of what's to come. And when Classic launches for real, I know I'm not going to take a single second for granted. To everyone who joined me on stream during my time playing Classic World, thank you so much. It was the funnest I've had playing an MMO in years. So I can only imagine how awesome it'll be when we can all play together. Thank you to all my channel members who make videos like this possible. Speaker Dan, Kevin Tapp, Kruyo, Kairui, Slothify, Kun, Crafting Vegito, Skartarga, GFO Wang, Porky Pork Pork, Hazur Kaushin, and everyone else listed here. Your support means so much,